So in this video on opportunity-related functionality within Microsoft Dynamics 365 for Sales, we're going to cover off the setup for improving lead conversion rates. Now, this is one in a series that we've done specifically on opportunity-related themes. You can see links to others in the series below. Also, if you've got any suggested content ideas or you need any help with Microsoft Dynamics, please see the links below. Anyway, our focus today is really around the setup around improving lead conversion rates. Now, lead conversion rates are really highly leveraged. So if you can make small improvements to your conversion rate, that can have a big impact on your bottom line. Well worth modeling for your own organization. Now, in a previous video, we covered off the dimension of speeding up the speed of response as being a big contributor to improving conversion rates. In this one, we want to focus on the dimension of making the sellers themselves more effective. So we're going to have a look at the setup for that. So let's go into the system. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm in the opportunities area to begin with. And the first thing to say is, I'm going to create a new opportunity. But obviously, one of the keys is tracking your opportunities within the CRM system, which might sound absolutely obvious. But a lot of people with CRM systems are still tracking opportunities in Excel spreadsheets. And, fundamentally centralizing it within a system where you've got multiple dimensions to the data you're tracking and all sorts of tools to assist you is going to be a lot more effective than managing it within a spreadsheet. So that's the starting point. So let's go and create one from scratch. So I'm just going to click new. I'm going to give that a title of RB test. And let's just link it to a random account record. Let's say Alpine Ski House. That's done. And we can now save that. And we've now created our opportunity record in the system. So I guess aside from getting opportunities into the system, I think the key thing we need to think about is what's the data capture? Because what we're really looking for is our data capture is to guide the seller through the process in terms of the things they should be doing and the information they should be capturing. And so we've got various data captures. This is absolutely out of the box. You're always going to want to tune this to your particular sales process. This is absolutely out of the box. But to give you an idea of sort of fields we're capturing here, we've got things like topic, contact, purchase timeline, budget, purchase process, description, current situation, customer need. Reasonably sensible fields. But obviously it's a case of tuning those so that you're capturing the information that's relevant to your process, not having fields that are irrelevant, just getting rid of those and getting a balance. You don't want your salespeople filling out tens or hundreds of fields about an opportunity because they're probably never going to do it. Now, that all becomes even more relevant when you consider this area at the top here, which is the business process flow. So this is where this really sort of brings to life that data capture. So I've got depicted here 4 stages of a sales process: qualify, develop, propose, and close. Now, your sales process may be very different, and that's fine. You can effectively set that up in the system. But within this process flow technology, we can specify what we think, what data we think should be captured at each of those steps. So I'm in the qualify one here. You can see the fields it's saying that I should be picking up and updating at that stage of the sales process. Again, for develop, I've got a separate set. Again, for propose, I've got a separate set. What's even more powerful, though I don't have it configured here, is that I can actually set these fields to be mandatory. Not mandatory in respect of you can't create a record unless you fill that out, but mandatory in terms of you can't move from one stage to the next stage until you fill that out. So that provides a lot more control, a lot more guidance to sellers in terms of what they need to be doing at the various steps of the sales process. So that's the data capture side of things. The other thing you can be doing really is starting to set up all manner of standard email templates within your system. So I'm in a timeline area here. If I want to go and send out an email to our prospective client, I can just do that from the timeline, create an email, And what that allows me to do is insert a template. So I can have a predefined set of templates across the business. Also, I can have personal templates as well. If I want to insert a template, you can see the sort of things it tracks here. This is sort of out of the box, may not be terribly relevant for what we're doing. And you can see it's sort of a template and it merges in data. Now, the reason for doing this is not all salespeople are great with the emails they send out. So it's a good idea to have a set of templates. Obviously, those can be tweaked and tuned as appropriate, but it gives people a good baseline for the sort of things they should be sending out to prospective clients. Now, let's just come back out of that and let's talk about sequences now. Now, at the top here, you can see I've got a button here for sequences. I'm just going to click on that. And what sequences are is a specified sequence of events that a seller can apply to an opportunity, or a seller can apply to multiple opportunities, or a sales manager can apply to a seller's opportunity or opportunities, or can be automatically applied if we wish to. If I just select one of these, and just one I sort of set up in the background, it's going to give me a quick visual of what I created here. In this case, it's saying to me, well, the first thing you need to do is do some initial research, Richard, and then send an introductory email, and it will have the template all set out for me. Then wait 2 days, and then follow up that email. So we've got a lot of power in terms of what we can set up in the background there, and that can be based on all sorts of clever things in terms of was the email open, and did the prospective client follow links, and that triggers follow-ups from the seller. So there's a lot we can do there, but it's trying to guide the seller through all the steps that we expect them to be undertaking. So if I just connect this all up, assign this to the seller, you'll see now we're going to get some activities appearing. So there we go. We've got undertake initial research as that first task. So again, very powerful capability for guiding sellers, particularly inexperienced sellers, through the steps we want them to be undertaking, and give sales managers the ability to manage that's happening in the way we want it to. The next thing I'll sort of talk about, which I can't show on the screen, is lead scoring. And I can't show on the screen because I'm in a sort of standard sandbox and trying to set up lead scoring, which needs a large number of opportunities to have been closed, either won or lost, in order to yield any information. It's very difficult to do it within a test set of data and show anything meaningful. But we can have a lead scoring element to that, which effectively assigns a lead a score based on a sort of a system algorithm. It sort of tracks the positive aspects to it and the negative aspects to it. And it's something that a salesperson can quickly look at and get a feel for, is this a promising opportunity or not? And particularly if they're an inexperienced seller, it means they can sort of focus their efforts on the most promising opportunities and not spend so much time on the least promising opportunities. So again, that's a sort of very powerful capability. The other thing we might want salespeople to have rapid access to is all the company's sales collateral. So, as part of the sales process, they're going to need to send information or want to send information to the prospective client. Now, that could be technical specifications, it could be white papers, it could be case studies, whatever we've got available. So there is an area within the system, if I just scroll down here, called sales literature, and which we can store all of that collateral and make it readily available for the salesperson to send out. So, I've only got a couple of items in here because, again, it is sort of out-of-the-box test data, and I've just set up a couple of items to illustrate it. But we've got this managed area with all our literature. Here I've got a sort of competitive profile. If I open that up, I can see information, I can see an attachment. And if I want to send that out to the client, I can just send that out as an email and I can pick the template and it will append the attachment to that. So it's really powerful being able to make sure sellers have got all that sales collateral to hand and they can use it effectively. Now let's just go back to our opportunity. And again, in a slightly related way, one of the things we can do is track competitors within our system. So let's say in our case we've identified we're up against a competitor. In this case, I've only got one set up in the system, I think, or a couple set up in the system. So we're up against test competitor 1 in this particular case. I could add that record to the opportunity. And if I then want to find out a little bit more about that competitor, I can open up that record and I can go and see any related opportunities where we're working or have worked with that competitor, and maybe my colleagues been involved in an opportunity and they've won, and I can go and pick their brains on how they approached it. Also, as we saw earlier, we've got related sales literature, so I can actually go and pick up any competitive intelligence that might be relevant to my particular opportunity. So again, another mechanism for helping us sell more effectively. If I go back to my opportunity now, the other thing that tends to be really, really useful is to for sellers to actually specify particular products and services that they're selling. So I might have some sort of global estimated revenue figure, let's say £100,000, and that may be fine at the very early stages of an opportunity. But if I'm getting sort of close to a decision, it's probably going to be a lot better if I actually got a set of products against that, so we can see what specific products and services that we're looking to be selling. Not only does that help on the next step, which is producing quotations quickly and rapidly in high quality quotations, but it makes it much more visible in terms of whether we've got a suitable mix of products and services, perhaps give some window in terms of the margin we might be making on this opportunity, and whether we got the right mix or whether there are additional products and services we should be adding to potentially maximize the value of this particular sale. So I can manage within the system a set of products, and I can manage within the system. So I can add a price list to this for consultancy services. I'm just going to save that. I'll do quick refresh as well. I go back to my products, and then I can add products to this. If I add a product, I can select a product. So I might be doing, let's say I'm going to be doing some training, and I can put in a number of days. Let's say that's a five days of training, and save and close that. And I can write in as many products and services. I'm just going to keep it nice and simple and just add in a single one at this stage. And I can actually track that sort of full mix of what I'm proposing to the client, and so we've got them the visibility of that. And then if we want to, we've got this quotes area here. Then based on that set of products and services, I could generate a quotation and send that out. So I click on new quote. It's going to pick up those products and services, and then I can just export that out to a PDF and send that out to the client. So we can have nice high quality quotation templates, drawing information from the system, so quick and easy to produce quotes, and they're going to be high quality and hopefully something that converts well. The other thing I can do in my quotations, by the way, is have automated follow-ups. So we can have follow-up activities for the seller to put into their diaries to follow those quotes up, and then that just helps tickle along that sort of conversion rate of those. And then underpinning all of this is the views and dashboards. So I've got my opportunities area, but I can have all sorts of system views in the system, and it's important they're tuned and tweaked to give the information that the seller needs and the sales managers and sales leaders need to sort of view the sort of upcoming opportunities and help everybody maximize sales. The other thing, of course, we can do is set up the dashboards as well to give as much information to sellers and sales managers and sales leaders as we possibly can. So, for example, I've created a lead and opportunity monitoring dashboard here that gives me all new leads, all new opportunities. That's the one we just added there, and any neglected leads and neglected opportunities. So it's really important that we sort of tweak the views and the dashboards in order to give the sellers and the managers the information they need. But it's also important to provide training, because individuals can create their own views, individuals can create their own dashboards, so everybody can get the information that they specifically need quickly and easily. Anyway, this is one in a series of videos we've done on opportunity related themes. You can see others in the series below. Also, if you've got any suggested content ideas or you need any help with Microsoft Dynamics, please see the links below. Anyway, thanks very much for your time today. Hopefully see you again soon.